Good morning, and welcome to the next installment of the reading of the Poetic Edda. We are using the Caroline Larrington translation. This morning, we will be reading Grimnir's Sayings. The prose introduction to Grimnir's Sayings gives an unexpected account of Odin and Frigg as rival patrons to two kingly candidates, the lost sons of King Hradung. Odin uses cutting to give his foster son an unfair advantage, and then precipitates a matrimonial quarrel by pointing out the different fates which have overtaken their proteges. Frigg is swift to give her own back, accusing Odin's favorite of stinginess, a serious charge given the near sacred character which Germanic societies ascribe to hospitality. Frigg duplicitously ensures that Geralt does mistreat his guest, relying on Odin's practice of disguising himself when visiting strange halls. We're not going to read all the preface, so here's the actual text itself. Hot you are, hurrying flyer, and rather too fierce. Go away from me, flame. My fur cloak singes, though I lift it up. My mantle burns before me. 8 nights I have sat here between the fires, yet no one offered me food, except Agnar alone, and he alone shall rule, the son of Gerard, the land of the Goths. Blessed shall you be, Agnar, since Odin bids you be blessed. For one drink you shall never get a better reward. The land is sacred which I see lying near the Aesir and Elves, but in Thrudheim Thor shall remain until the powers are torn asunder. Udale it is called, the place where Ol has made a hall for himself. Alfheim the gods gave to Freyr in bygone days as tooth payment. There is a third home where the cheerful powers roofed the rooms with silver. Balaskielf it is called, which the gods designed for himself in bygone days. Sokvabek a fourth is called, and cool waves resound over it. There's Odin and Saga drink every day, joyful from the cups. Gladsheim a fifth is called. There gold-bright Valhall extends out widely. There Odin chooses every day those dead in combat. It's very easy to recognize for those who come to Odin to see how his hall's arranged. Spear shafts the building has for rafters. It's roofed with shields. Mail coats are strewn on the benches. It's very easy to recognize for those who come to Odin to see how his hall's arranged. A wolf hangs west of the door, and an eagle hovers above. Thrimheim the sixth is called, where Thiazi lived, the all-powerful giant. But now Skadi, the shining bride of the gods, lives in her father's ancient courts. Breidablik is the seventh, where Balder has made a hall for himself. In that land where I know there are the fewest runes of ill omen. Himinbjorg is the eighth, and there they say Heimdall rules over his sanctuaries. There the gods' glad watchman drinks good mead in the peaceful hall. Folkvang is the ninth, and there Freya fixes allocation of seats in the hall. Half the slain she chooses every day, and half Odin owns. Glitnir is the 10th. It has golden buttresses, and likewise is roofed with silver. And therefore Seti lives most days, and puts to sleep all quarrels. Noton is the 11th, where Njord has made a hall for himself. The prince of men, lacking in malice, rules a high-timbered temple. Brushwood grows in high grass and woods in Vidar's land, and there the sun proclaims from his horse's back his keenness to avenge his father. Anthramnir has Sakramnir boiled in Edrimnar, the best of pork, but few know on what the Einharjar are nourished. Gary and Freki he satiates, the glorious father of hosts trained in battle, but on wine alone the weapon magnificent Odin always lives. Hunin and Munin fly every day over the vast stretching world. I fear for Hunin that he will not come back, yet I tremble more for Munin. Thunder roars the great wolf's fish, swims happily in the stream. The river's current seems too strong for the slaughter horse to wade. Valgrens it's called, standing on the plain, sacred before the sacred door. Ancient is that gate, but few men know how it is closed up with a lock. 500 doors and 40, I think there are in Valhall. 800 Einherjar will pass through a single door when they march out to fight the wolf. 500 and daisies and 40, so I think Grimnir has in all. Of all those halls which I know to be roofed, my son's I know is the greatest. Hydrun is the goat's name, who stands on Father of Hosts' hall and browses on Lyrid's branches. She will fill a vat of shining mead that liquor cannot ever diminish. Icthrirnir is the hart's name, who stands on Father of Hosts' hall and browses on Lernir's branches, and from his antlers there drips into Virgrimir, from hence all waters make their way. Sid and Vid, Saken and Eiken, Svol and Guntharo, Fjorm and Fimbulthir, Rin and Renandi, Gifra and Goper, Gomer and Girvimol, they fly around the god's treasure hoard, Thine and Vin, Thol and Hol, Grad and Guntharin. Vina is one's name, another Vegsvin, a third Theodnuma, Night and Not, Non and Hran, Slid and Hrid, Sieg and Yig, Vid and Van, Bond and Strand, Yule and Leaped, they fall close to men and flow down from here to hell. Kormt and Ormt, and the two Kilager, these Thor must wade every day when he goes to give judgments at Yggdrasil's ash. For the Aesir's bridge burns all with flames, the sacred waters boil. Glad and Golden, Glassy and Skadbrimir, Silvertuft and Sinar. Gills and Hidden Hoof, Goldtuft and Lightfoot, these horses the Aesir ride every day when they go to give judgments at Yggdrasil's ash. 3 roots there grow in 3 directions under Yggdrasil's ash. Hell lives under one, under the second, the frost giants, under the third, humankind. Ratatosk is the squirrel's name who must scurry about on Yggdrasil's ash. The eagle's utterance he must bring from above and tell to Nidhogg below. There are 4 hearts, too, who browse on its shoots, with their necks tilted back. Dane and Valin, Dunir and Dirathor. More serpents lie under Yggdrasil's ash than any numbskull fool can imagine. Goin and Moin, these are Grafitnir's sons, Grabek and Grafvonold, Afnir and Svafnir, I think forever will erode the tree's branches. Yggdrasil's ash suffers agony more than men know. A stag nibbles it above, but at its side it's decaying, and Nidhogg rends it beneath. Hrist and Mist I wish would bear a horn to me, Sigurd and Skolger, Hild and Thrud, Chlok and Hrafritur, Gol and Girlo, Reingrid and Radgrid, and Regenleif, they bear ale to Einherjar. Arvak and Alsvid, the slender ones, must pull the sun up from here, and under their shoulders the cheerful gods, the Aesir, have installed cooling iron. Svalin he's called, he stands before the sun, a shield for the shining goddess. Mountain and sea I know would burn up if he fell away from there. Skull a wolf is called, who pursues the shining goddess to the protecting woods. And another is Hati, he is Hradvitnir's son, who must run before heaven's bright bride. From Ymir's flesh the birth was made, and from his blood the sea. Mountains from his bones, trees from his hair, and from his skull the sky. And from his eyelashes the cheerful gods made Midgard for men's sons, and from his brain the hard-tempered clouds were all created. All's protection and that of all the gods, he was the first one to seize the flames. For the worlds lie open over the sons of the gods when the kettles are lifted off. And Valdir's sons, in bygone days, went to create Skidbladnir, the best of ships for shining Freyr, Njord's beneficent son. Yggdrasil's ash is the most preeminent of trees, as the Skidbladnir of ships. Odin of the Aesir, Sleipnir of horses, Bilrost of bridges, Bragi of poets, Habrag of hawks, and Garm of dogs. Fleeting visions I have now revealed before the victory god's sons. Now the wish for protection will awaken. To all the Aesir it will become known on Aegir's benches at Aegir's feast. I was called Mask, I was called Wanderer, General and Helm-wearer, known and third, Thund and Ud, Hellblind and High. Steady as Svipul and Singatal, War-merry and Hnikar, weak-eyed, flame-eyed, Bulwark, Fjolnir, Mask and Mask One, Grapsvid and Much Wise, Broadhat, Broadbeard, Victory Father, Hnukud, All-Father, Father of the Slain, Atrid and Burden God. By one name I have never been known since I went among the people. Grimnir they called me at Girod's, and Ak at Asmund's, and then Kialar when I pulled the sledge, Thror at the assembly, Vidar in battle, Oski and Ami, Equal High and Beflindi, Gondolier and Harbard among the gods. Svidr and Svidrir I was called at Sokmamir's, and I tricked the old giant then, when I became of Midvidnir's famous son, the Soul Slayer. Drunk are you, Gerod, you've drunk too much. You are bereft of much of my support, that of all the Einherjar and Odin's favor. Much I have told you, but little you remember. Friends have played you false. I see my friend's sword lying, all spattered with his blood. The terrible one will now take the weapon-weary, slaughtered man. I know your life is over. The Disir are against you. Now you may see Odin. Draw near to me if you can. Odin I am called now. Terrible one I was called before. They called me Thund before that. Vak and Skilfang, Vafud and Hraptarir, Got and Ilk among the gods, Ofnir and Svafnir, all these I think stem from me alone. Quite the words there. We have a listing of various of the gods' halls and a listing of the Allfather's many names. So until next time, goodbye.